Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode here in NHL 25. So last episode, if you did not catch it, we had the conference finals against the Nashville Predators, and we found a way to beat their tough team. They were off to a really good start in this playoffs, like they were 9-1 before the series. They ended up beating us in the first game in the series 5-2, so at that point, honestly, not really expecting too much still at that point. So we end up winning three straight games, well, 4 straight games total, I guess. 2 in regulation, only by 1 goal in this game 3 to take that 2-1 series lead. So some pretty tight games. Then we won the last 2 games in overtime on a big goal from Cameron to win 2-1. And then Marcoux won in game 5 for us and on an overtime winner as well. So very happy that this team's been able to get to a cup finals. Obviously, this is potentially or probably the last season. So this is probably the last run we're actually going to have, because obviously the day this episode is going up is like exactly, I think, a week before NHL 26 drops. So likely there will not be another simulation episode after this. So hopefully we could end off NHL 25 kind of on a note where we win ourselves a Stanley Cup. Because obviously my Islanders franchise mode, spoiler if you didn't see it, but we did not win ourselves a Stanley Cup in the final season. So we never won a Stanley Cup in those entire 25 years. So I am kind of hungry for a Stanley Cup victory, and I'm hoping that it could happen in the series. Anyways, as you can see, we're taking on the Buffalo Sabres for the Stanley Cup, which is an interesting one. So obviously you can see this little comparison here. Both of us have been pretty similar offensive teams in terms of goals for. We're a little bit better, obviously, in terms of that. Goals against, though, they are very good defensively right now in the playoffs. They're only allowing 2.26 to our 2.79. And then you can see special teams-wise, they have us beat 18% for their power play and 86.2% for their penalty kills. So technically they have the upper hand in a lot of things like that, but I do think it could be still a pretty even matchup. Now, Buffalo obviously was not the highest seeded team in the world. They are 42, 33, and 7 during the season, but if we look at their roster again, they actually are well built up, and they definitely could have probably simulated a lot better than that. As you can see with like their top 9 as deep as it is, also having guys like JVR as a 4th liner is absolutely absurd. So yeah, left wing depth is probably one of the best left wing depths we've ever seen. Center depth is fantastic as well, because this guy used to be a high up pick as well. So this guy still has the potential to become something crazy good for them. And then their right wing depth obviously is also very good. So yeah, offensively, they're fantastic. Defensively, maybe this is where they're a little bit on the weaker end. Obviously, their top 2 is good, but having guys like Kokkonen, Ranger, and Sealer there, I would say are a little bit on the weaker end of things, so maybe that's where we could beat them. But obviously, their offensive core probably makes up for stuff like that. And then from a goaltending perspective, they do have some very good goaltending so far here in the playoffs. The main reason why is because Calvin Pickard actually, despite having a really bad regular season, he was the starter in the playoffs, because it seems like Jake Allen was injured for a good chunk of the season, and you can see Pickard was absolutely elite going into the Stanley Cup Finals. So not great, but we won't have to run into him, which is good, but we will have to play against Jake Allen, who has also been pretty good when he's played. So it's 2 tough goaltenders on their team. Their defensive core, like I said, isn't the strongest on paper, but they simulate good defensively. And then from an offensive standpoint, they have one of the best offensive cores I think we've seen this entire playoff run. So it's going to be a tough matchup, but hopefully we can find a way to beat it. I think it's going to be kind of neat to see Edmonton and Buffalo in this Cup Finals, because obviously in real life in 2019, I think both these teams, well, Buffalo was probably not that great for sure. Edmonton, I don't remember how good they were in 2019, but it's just funny because these are the 2 teams that kind of were memed on for a little bit, obviously, when like Eichel was on Buffalo and stuff like that, and McDavid was on Edmonton. So it's going to be kind of a cool matchup for that purpose as well. And yeah, I'm hoping, like I said, we can find a way to get that Stanley Cup victory. So with that said, let's get in you guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into probably this final bit of simulation in the series, because like I said, I don't think there's a way we could really get another season done of this, unfortunately, even though I'd really like to. So the first and only comment is from Sarah Taku, says Patrick Hornqvist is on the opposing team. You guys are cooked, and maybe so. Patrick Hornqvist was a tough player in real life, very like chippy and grindy and getting in front of the net and all that. Like, he's definitely one of those kind of players that people not necessarily look at when they look at a cup team. Like when you look at Pittsburgh's cup winning teams, You look at like the guys like Crosby and Malkin, of course, but you had to have those kind of role players like Hornqvist, and I don't know how he simulates in this mode so far. He's been a pretty solid player. He used to play with Nashville, obviously, back when we faced him early on into this franchise mode. Was only like a 30 to 40 point guy with them because I think they have really good depth in. Then eventually went to Buffalo and he has found himself a lot. This was his best season with 74 points. And then you can see he makes his living so far this year, at least in the playoffs, 16 points in 19 games. So, yeah, definitely got to watch out for Hornqvist. There's also guys like William Karlsson, who's pretty good, of course. RJ Umberger's pretty old at this point in time. But like having Vanek as the second liner is crazy because Vanek's obviously a really good goal scorer for them so far in the playoffs. He has 11 goals through 19 games. Like you could definitely see that they get goal scoring from a lot of these guys. Like even JVR has 9 points in 19 games and he's only averaging 12 minutes of ice time a game. Like I'm assuming he's getting power play time, but still, that's just a really solid offensive core. And then I don't really know where we could take advantage of them fully defensively. I'm guessing like this top 6 pairing because Paul Ranger, actually he's a +5 right now. Nick Seeler is definitely one of the weaker options on their defensive core. And then this Hanyu Kukkonen guy is actually not that great either. He's actually listed as a depth defender. He's -6 so far. That top pairing is obviously really good though. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup. I feel like I don't know who has the better ratings of the two teams, but I think it could be a pretty even Cup Finals despite us having 5 more wins during the regular season. So let's actually take a look at who has the better ratings. We'll go to play now just so we can kind of see the ratings. So for us, we're rated an 87 offense, 82 defense, and 89 goaltending, which is pretty damn good. Buffalo is a 91 offense, I just saw. I think they said an 82 defense. I hate how it just goes away that quick. 1 second, let's do this again. 91, 82, yeah, and 84. So their goaltending on paper is technically worse than ours. Their offense is better than ours, and we're tied defensively. So technically on paper, it should be a pretty even matchup based on that. Like we beat them in goalie, but they beat us in offense, and we're tied defensively. Like that's pretty crazy. We've been simulating better offensively than them during the playoffs, though. So, honestly, don't really know what to expect. I don't really even know who I want to start in net for this Cup Finals. Like, Vasilevsky returned from injury in last round, and he was pretty solid in most of his games that he's played since returning from the injury. But obviously, that last game, he was not very good. He allowed 5 goals in it, but we did still find a way to get the victory. So I think we'll probably still keep a Vasi, but obviously McClement might be ready to come back in again. He has been really good for us, especially when Vasilevsky was injured. So we're going to keep the team the same as it was for last round, and let's see if we can get off to a good start in this Cup Finals. Like I said, if we win a Stanley Cup in the series, and technically I didn't win a single one of my Islanders series, I'd be pretty surprised because this team was definitely a little bit weird early on into franchise mode, yet we somehow found ourselves in a Cup Finals at the last possible year, probably. The only thing that's not going good for us is the fact that we almost had like a week in between games, which is also kind of insane, just because obviously we knocked out Nashville so early. Meanwhile, Buffalo had to go to a Game 7 in the conference finals, so with that said, I think we're ready to get into this Cup Finals. We have home ice advantage. This should be exciting. The first Cup Finals game in Edmonton since 2006. This would be 2019. So, in the span of 13 years, let's see what happens. Game number 1 against the Sabres. I guess technically it could have been an Edmonton-Buffalo Cup Finals in 06 too when you think about it, because I think Buffalo lost to Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, in those playoffs. But anyways, first period, game 1. 1-0 us, good start. Okay, I'll take it. Moss opens the scoring, so that's our first Cup Finals goal of this franchise mode. And Moss has been a pretty good goal-scoring defenseman. Like, he also can pick up assists, but he's more of a goal scorer, which is interesting. Don't usually get a lot of defenders that just score goals. It's a late one in that first period as well, with only 1:32 left. And it is Calvin Pickard in net. I'm actually kind of surprised, because Pickard's only a 78, but they're putting Pickard in over Jake Allen. That's really surprising. I thought they would have started Jake Allen, but maybe Allen already got injured in this game. I don't even know if he started or not, but that's really a big surprise. Anyway, shots are 13-7 in favor of us. Good first period. Let's see if we can build upon that in the second. Second period. Still 1-0 us, okay? I mean, it's good to have a 1-0 lead, but Calvin Pickard still seems to be that really good goaltender for the Sabres right now, which is not great. Shots are even 20-20. It's been a good goaltending matchup so far. Can we find a way to get an insurance marker in the third? Because it's still like next goal will be big regardless of who scores it. So third period underway. Can we find a way to get an insurance marker? Please give me an insurance marker. I don't really care who on our team, but somebody. Yes, let's go. Lowry. Lowry's been amazing. Latti's been amazing. Alto's been amazing. There's so many good players on this team in this playoff run that I don't even know who would the favorite be for the Conn Smythe if we do win the Cup this year. But a textbook first game, McKinnon the empty netter. The Edmonton Oilers win Game 1 despite being outshot 35-27. And we have taken Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals on home ice. I like that start. 35 saves from Vasilevsky, so I guess we'll keep with Vasilevsky, but Moss from Cameron and McKinnon, and we had Lowry from Falk and Latti, and McKinnon from Falk and Cameron. Right now, Latti's leading the team in points, but everybody on this team has been contributing. That, like I said, I don't really know who would the favorite be for the Conn Smythe if we find a way to win this year. So it's going to be a surprising result regardless if we do jump in and find out about that. So Vasilevsky the first star, McKinnon the second star, and Justin Falk the third star. I'll take it. But yeah, that's a textbook first game. We play good defensively, and we find that offensive game a little bit. That's not too bad whatsoever. All right, so that's a good way to start off this Cup Finals. I think we might as well keep the team the same. We could try and get somebody like Marleau into the lineup if we really want to, but for the time being, I just don't think I want him in the lineup, so I think I'll keep him out just because everything's been kind of working really well for this team as of late. We are currently on a 5-game win streak, so hopefully we find a way to win 3 more in a row and we don't have to worry about getting like reverse swept or something like that, because that could obviously happen at some point. But let's keep the team the same for Game 2 and see if we can win both of our home games. If we can win both of our home games, then we just got to find a way to continue winning on the road, which we've been a pretty okay road team at times. Other times, not so much, so I'm not too sure what version of our team we're going to get once we actually get into Buffalo. So with that said, let's get to game number 2 on home ice. Can we find a way to build off a great first game and continue to play good defensively? I should have maybe checked if Jake Allen actually did play that game or not, but he might be back in net this game. Anyways, first period, game 2. 3-0 Buffalo. Oh, that's a terrible start for Vasilevsky. Vanek, Berglund, and Umberger score. I did feel like our winning streak was eventually going to come to an end, but to see it come crashing down would not be great. So they get 2 goals from their top 6, and in Berglund, I think, was their third-line center. So, yeah, that's a really rough first period. We are close in shots, 14-11, but those 3 different extra shots that they took were technically all goals in a way when you think about it. So we got to find a way to start clawing back into this game in a second if we want any chance to take a 2-0 series lead. Can we find a way to get at least 2 goals maybe back in the second and not allow them to score anymore? Second period. Still 3-0. Not good. We're going to need to find ways to win in Buffalo for sure at this rate, because I don't think this team's going to have a third period comeback. I mean, it's possible, but obviously it's not an easy hill to climb in the final 20 minutes. So shots are pretty even, 22-21 in favor of us, but they are playing great in terms of defense now, and their goaltender's having a good game. Obviously, he had a good game last game for them too, but obviously Vasilevsky was much better last game. Let's see if we can maybe claw back into this, but we are likely going to have to hope that we can find ways to win at least 1 game in Buffalo. So, third period underway. Can we get back into this game at any point, or are we just going to get shut out after we shut them out? Because that could happen. Let's just say the word shut out 50,000 times, and maybe it could jinx their goaltender. William Karlsson bleeds McClement, so Vasilevsky must have got pulled after the first. Fada does break the shutout, but it's much too late at this point. And we are going to lose game 2, unfortunately, by a final score of 4-1. So after a good defensive effort and a solid offensive effort, we don't have a good offensive effort, and we don't have the best defensive effort. So definitely need a bit more consistency, but is what it is. Looks like Jake Allen was back in net for this game. Unfortunately, our only goal is Fada from McKinnon and Cameron. If Fada could get going and score like he did during the season, it would be nice, but yeah, Vasilevsky got pulled after 14 minutes, 3 goals on 10 shots. McClement came in and played good, so maybe we will go back to McClement in Buffalo, potentially. And wow, okay, that's kind of crazy. Moss and Metropolitan were both terrible defensively. So maybe we want to change up something defensively a bit. But yeah, Jake Allen came back to the lineup and was really good. So it sucks that we had to go up against Jake Allen in a way, but also Pickard is technically the better of the two goalies this playoff run for them. But the Sabres are a very good defensive team for some weird reason. So let's go edit lines and see if there is anything we could do to maybe change things up. Obviously, I don't really want to change up the forward group too much, I don't think. I mean, I could, but I don't see really anything I could do unless I move Fada back down. Because Fada has been probably one of the most disappointing players for us this playoff run. So, you know what? Let's go with Latti top line. Latti has been our leading point guy. We'll put Latti on the top line. That's actually a +5 chemistry. And then Fada can play with Lowry and Alta, who have been solid as well. And then from a defensive standpoint, this pairing was -3 last game. I don't think there's really anything I could do to get rid of it. I could also move Falk down, but Falk's been our best offensive defenseman. I don't really want to overcorrect on these lines, but we might have to. And then I think I am going to go to McClement next game. Because Vasilevsky has been good at times, but he might need another break a little bit. Like maybe his injury's still kind of nagging him a little bit. But his consistency the last few games, not as good. You can see an 861, then a shutout, then a 700 save percentage. Not very good. You go to McClement, look at his stats over the last little bit. 950, a 931, a 969. There's a bad game, but he's been much more consistent, I think, as of late. So yeah, I think we're going to go for McClement in this next game. I know it's kind of a weird decision, but we might as well go with him since Vasilevsky had a rough last game. So with that said, those line adjustments, hopefully they help. We could get Marlowe into the lineup if we really want to, but I don't think there's anybody I want to scratch on this team really. So with that said, let's get to Buffalo, see if we can take back that series lead. Hopefully we can, because if we lose somehow both games in Buffalo, we're in a really bad spot. If we find a way to win one of these two games, at least then we're in an okay spot. So we got to be very careful here not to lose too many in a row. We got to continue building off that win streak we had earlier in this playoff run. So with that said, let's get to game number 3 on the road in Buffalo. Can we get a better response and not have a bad first period? Because that first period in the last game lost us the game. So if we get off to a better start, maybe we could still win. First period, game 3. 2-0 Buffalo. Another bad start for this team, even with the goaltending and defensive adjustments. JVR opens the scoring. Drew Stafford makes it 2. I don't feel really good about this unless our team finds a way to get 2 unanswered in the second period. Like right now, I feel like after we had a win streak, I feel like we might go on a losing streak, but I really hope that's not the case. So hopefully this team has still a fight in them, but 2 goals a minute apart, basically. And yeah, we're down 2-0 going into the second. We can't be chasing the game the entire time. If we're chasing the game, it's going to be really tough to come back from. So we got to find a way to get off to a better start next game especially. But let's have a good second period here. Maybe get 1 goal to at least pull ourselves back into this game. Can we find a way to start clawing back into this game in the second period? No, we can't. We're down 3-0 going into the third, just like last game. Brzgalov scores. They're outshooting us 27-17. Yikes. Buffalo's playing to their strengths. They have a good offensive core, and they're also still playing that good defensive game that they were playing all the way up into this Cup Finals. I do not feel good about that whatsoever, but if we could have one of these games, like if this next game we could tie up the series at least, that would be good, but we shouldn't be trailing. We shouldn't be, but third period underway. Let's see if we could find a way to come back from 3-0 in the third, but doubt it's going to happen like that. Nathan MacKinnon pulls us within 2, so that's a nice goal to get. Can we get another quick one to give ourselves a chance? Not looking like it right now. Goddamn, man. And they're so good in net right now. MacKinnon scores again to make it a 3-2 game. Can we come back? We just need 1 goal to tie it. Please? Please? No, we cannot. We tried to come back in the third. At least Nathan MacKinnon did. But unfortunately, that second period goal is the difference. We got outshot 39-27, so that game's definitely not on McClement. The defensive core allowed way too many shots in that game, but we only lose by 1. So it's definitely a tough loss, but it could have been a lot worse. But obviously, there's stuff that we need to probably address. So we had MacKinnon from Cameron and Metropolitan, and MacKinnon from Falk and Cameron. So seems like McKinnon's doing well, but obviously we need some other people to step up here. Didn't want to take a look at Buffalo's stats. We need to find a way to win that next one. And another -3 game from Moss. Moss has been dreadful defensively in this series, and I'm not too sure what the reasoning is for it. Like, he had the first goal of the Cup Finals, but since then has just been out there for a lot of goals against. Like, he has been, I think, a combined -6, I guess, the last 2 games. So, yeah, we gotta find a way to figure ourselves out here a little bit. It's not that we've been a bad defensive team, but we need some of those defenders that were playing good up into this round to kind of refine themselves a little bit. So let's go make some line adjustments and see if we could get something to work out a bit. We might actually put Marleau back in the lineup for this next game, which means I think Andrew Shaw might get scratched. So with that said, let's get Holden over to the right side. We'll take Shaw out of the lineup and get Patty Marleau back in here. Get him a chance to play a Cup Finals game, because why not? Aside from that, though, I feel like the offense hasn't been terrible, but I feel like there's something that is not working. It's probably mostly the defense. Like, if we go to Moss's stats right now and look at his stats, like, he's a +11 during the season. Playoffs, he's only a +1 now, but you look at his game logs, -3 in back-to-back games. So he's going to get a way less ice time now, and we're going to move him all the way down to the top 6. And we'll probably readjust these pairings a bit. Let's go Metro and Rodriguez top pairing, so full shutdown pairing. We'll go full Kalinka, Mackey, and Moss, because Moss has just been a liability in his own zone right now, which is not ideal. So, and we will go back to Vasilevsky, even though McClement wasn't terrible last game. It's just more, we might as well go goaltender by goaltender. Yeah, McClement was really good, actually, for that matter. But yeah, I think we're going to go back to Vasi again. And we could get other people into the lineup, but I think just taking out Shaw will be the only thing we do. But yeah, I don't really think Marleau should be higher than the 4th line, to be honest. So, trying to think if there's anything else I would adjust, because I do not want to lose this next game. If we lose this next game, we're going to win 3 straight. If we could somehow win it, obviously, then it becomes a best of 3 where anything could happen. So, yeah, I think the rest of this will keep the same. We go full defensive on this top 2, and then obviously Halinka and Folk down here. Moss not getting a lot of ice time. He is still getting, I think, power play time and all that. Like, he has been a pretty good offensive player this playoffs, but I really need to get that defensive stats better. Like, the last few years in the playoffs, he wasn't very good defensively, and then these last 2 games, like I said, a combined -6, which is definitely not good. So with that said, I think we're ready for the next game, but obviously this is a little bit of a nerve-wracking scenario to be in, just because obviously we got to win this game, or else I don't know how we're going to win 3 straight. It is doable because we won 3 straight against Nashville, but obviously in the Cup Finals, it's a tough thing to do. So we got to find a way to win this next game, guys. We got to find a way to do so. So big game 4 in Buffalo. Can we find a way to tie the series up and make it a best of 3? We got to have a good first period here. No question about it. If we have another bad first period, I do not think we're going to win the Cup if we have another bad first period. So play good defensively, play good in net, and find ways to get some early goals for our side this time. First period. 1-0 Buffalo. We've always been trailing after the first in the last few games. It's not as bad defensively, obviously, because we're not giving up like 3 goals in the first, for instance. But obviously giving up the game's first goal kind of gives a little bit of momentum to that team. They're also out shooting us 18-10 on that Vanek goal, so that's not a good first period in terms of limiting the chances. We're kind of lucky to be in this game because of Vasilevsky, so maybe Vasi could hold us in it the entire time, but we got to find a way to score a goal and tie this game up at 1 if we can. We need a big second period here. Who wants to be the guy to tie it up for us? Second period. Please get me the tying goal. I don't care who it is on the roster. Just please score. Second period. Still 1-0. They're outshooting us 35-18. Maybe this is one of those games though that your goalie keeps you in it the entire time and then you find a way to tie it early in the third. I have seen that happen before, but I do not like that we're getting that badly outplayed. Like, I'm lucky that we have a goalie like Vasi, because if we didn't have a goalie like Vasi, or McClement for that matter, we wouldn't be in this game. We'd be way down by multiple goals. But we're still in this game. We just got to find a way to convert despite them doubling us up in shots. But please don't allow as much shots in the third period, because they are absolutely like getting 18 shots a period, which is not very good. So let's see what happens. Third period underway. Can we find a way to tie this game up at 1? Please tie it up. Goalie's been keeping us in it all night. We just got to find a way to capitalize on theirs somehow. Come on, boys, please. Penalty kill. Kill this off, please. Vanek on the power play. God damn it, man. You're really going to tell me we're going to have to come back from a friggin' 3-1 deficit in the Cup Finals? We get shut out 2-0. Final shots 45-33. I kind of felt like this was going to be the case because after we won so many games in a row, including game 1 of this series, I kind of felt like maybe we'd go on a losing streak, and that's the way it's been right now. Only goals were from Vanek in that one, but Vasilevsky kept us in that entire game, but it was not enough. God damn, man. Look at Vasilevsky, though. 43 of 45. And our offense just does not show up. It is possible for us to win 3 straight against Buffalo, but Jake Allen's locked in as well for Buffalo, so we might honestly be losing a Cup Finals here at the very end, which really sucks. Considering, like I said, there's probably no way I could do another season of this because there's only like another couple upload dates left before NHL 26 after this goes up, so yeah, I'm really hoping we could come back from 3-1, but I honestly don't even know if this team has it in them, because we haven't found our identity that we had in the first 3 rounds. We got to make some drastic adjustments. Guys like Marcoux have been pretty quiet here in the Cup Finals as well. So, we are going to have to jump into a game, this next game probably regardless. Maybe not, because I do need a screenshot of a player, but I guess I could get one of Vanek outside of it. But we might jump in anyway, since this is probably the last game of this series, potentially. Or one of the last games. But let's make some adjustments with our lines a bit. So I think what we're going to do is maybe kind of bolster ourselves down the middle. Go McKinnon and Cameron on different lines. We'll put Marcoux as a third-line center, even though Marcoux is actually really good. And then we're going to basically readjust our wingers. We're going to put Toffoli, Fata. Actually, maybe we'll go Alto instead on this line. Nelson over to the other side. Swap, yeah, we'll actually keep Alto on the right side because apparently the chemistry is better. We will go Lowry, third line with Fata and Marcoux. Marleau, how was he the last game? 5 minutes of ice time, didn't pick up a single point. We'll probably keep Marleau in just because it's Marleau, but I honestly don't know if there's really any other adjustments I can make here. I could use Marleau as a center, hypothetically, but eh. And then defensively, we are going to go to Metro and Falk again. And we'll go with Mackey and Holinka. Rodriguez will play with Moss just because Moss has been bad defensively. Rodriguez has usually been one of our best defensive defensemen. And goalies, we will go with Fassi, I think. Yeah, we'll go with that. So this team needs to win 3 straight. We made ourselves stronger down the middle. Not necessarily a great idea, but all 3 of these guys have power play time, I think, anyways, so they shouldn't complain. But we got to find ways to spread out that offense, and maybe having 3 strong players down the middle will help us out a bit. So the question is now, obviously, is this team going to find a way to win 3 straight, or are we going to lose the Cup Finals in this season? I was really hoping for a Stanley Cup this year, man. But my only Stanley Cups have came in, or Stanley Cup. Did I only win one in Albuquerque? I can't remember. But I have not been able to find a way to win a Stanley Cup since my draft to glory. So please, boys, find a way to win me 3 straight and win me the Stanley Cup. We could come back. We could do it. I believe in us. Just got to find a way to have better first periods. So let's get to this next game. See if we could start clawing back. But we need to get off to a better start here. And like I said, we might jump in it regardless just to see those guys out there one more time. Lowry opens the scoring early on. Might be a good sign, might not be. Because like I said in my Islanders series, once you score early, sometimes you end up giving up 2 unanswered. So hoping that is not the case here. But Lowry's been a really good player, man. Really good player. Stafford makes it a 1-1 game. That's not good. Final few minutes of this first period, and it will end at 1-1 with the shots also dead even 12-12. So that's probably our best first period since game 1. But obviously, giving up a goal in the first period again, not necessarily ideal, but at least we do have a goal of our own, because last game, obviously, we got shut out in. So We need to have a big second period here. This second period could dictate the rest of the series. So, second period underway. Can we get that lead back? Come on, Nathan McKinnon. I know you have more goals than you. Jason Zucker, of all people, scores for them. But Corbin Rodriguez answers back for us. And then Toffoli gives us the lead. All right. So Rodriguez is not a goal scorer, but he scores a big goal there. And then Nelson makes it 4-2. Okay, now this team's offense is coming alive a bit, which is good. But obviously there's still a lot of work to go. So we got to be still careful here. But we're up by a pair of goals going into the third. That's a nice second period, especially considering the way it started. But they answer back a minute later and then score 2 more. Love to see it. Shots are 26-21 in favor of us. It's a 4-2 game. Let's lock this game down in the third and find a way to get it to game 6. Third period underway. And they immediately pull within 1. Tyler Myers, of all people. Really? Damn. Was not expecting that. We need to get an insurance marker or just play good defensively the rest of the way. Come on, Vasi. Penalty kill here in the third. And we get a goal afterwards. I was scared of him for a second. Alto makes it 5-3. That's a big goal at this point. And they pull within 1, so that Alto goal still might be the difference. And it will be the difference. We escape with a 1-goal victory. Not necessarily the prettiest win, but it does keep our season alive. But Alto, with 7 minutes basically left to go, won us that game. Or else Eric Fair could have forced that game to overtime. So, like I said, not the prettiest game, but we do get the win. And now, obviously, this next game is going to be tough because it's in Buffalo. But if we could find a way to win it, we could go to a game 7 still. So Lowry from Marcoux and Fada. Then we had Rodriguez's first of the playoffs from Nelson and Cameron. Toffoli from McKinnon and Latti. Nelson from Falk. And an Alto from Falk. So Falk had a pretty nice game. And yeah, that's definitely a better offensive game for our team. Falk with 2 points. Nelson with 2 points. And a bunch of guys on 1 point. We did have some bad plus-minus. Moss was a -3 again. Oh my god. At this point, I want to scratch Moss, but he's really solid. He only played 15 minutes too, though. But we are playing him, I think, on the top 6 now. He was playing with Rodriguez, but Moss has been like a -9 in 3 of the last 4 games combined, I think. I'm not too sure how good he was plus-minus last game, but my god, this guy just cannot find a way to play good defensively in this Cup Finals. But at least we won it. So I'm not going to complain, really. But Brock Nelson, first star. Alto, second star. And Falk, the third star. All right. Well, this has been definitely one of those weird finals, in a way. We do pull within 1 of the series. Can we find a way to tie it up is the question. Like I said, I would scratch Moss, but I think he's been useful at times getting into this point. But to be a -3 in 3 of the games we played, pretty bad. Also, I need to change my batteries because I saw that it was about to die, so I'll do that right now. Alright, we're back with a new pair of batteries, so now we won't have it die on us just in case there's any scenario where my battery randomly dies and it skips like some Stanley Cup celebration or something like that. I think we're ready for this next game, but I want to make sure that the team is set up the way I want it to. I am nervous about keeping the team the same after a game like that, because like I said, that last game wasn't pretty, but if we could find a way just to win this game, we could get to a game 7 back on home ice, which would be huge. Do we want to keep Marlowe in the lineup again? Let's take a look at how he was last game. He was -1 last game in only 5 minutes. I kind of want to scratch Marlowe again. Yeah, I think I'm going to scratch Marlowe again. We're going to get a little bit more grindy, get Shaw back into the lineup here, and Holden obviously will go back to the other side. Holden was really good early in this playoffs, but he's really quieted down quite a bit. I would like to see him start scoring again, but obviously tough to get him higher in the lineup with how this roster is. So I think we'll keep this the same. We're going to go with Vasilevsky again. I could go with McClement, but McClement wasn't... he was actually pretty good last time he played, but I just feel a little bit worrisome about making any changes right now. So this is a big game. If we can find a way to win in Buffalo, then obviously all the pressure is off our shoulders and we go to a game 7. There is a lot of pressure on Buffalo, though, right now, because obviously if they lose this game in front of their fans, they will not have another home game left this season because of that. So we got to find a way to win in front of them and force that game 7. So I think we're going to keep the team the same. Like I said, I haven't been impressed really with this team fully this Stanley Cup Finals, but we got to maybe do it. Like, we won the first game actually pretty nicely. Lost 3 straight games pretty I mean, this first game was pretty bad. This one only was by 1 goal, so that one we could have probably won on. And then this one we lost 2-0, but we were both trailing early in these games, so maybe that's not the ideal part. But then we just won by 1 goal, and we scored 5 goals, which is the most we've scored against them. So I don't really know what to expect. Is this going to be the type of series we could come back from 3-1, or are we going to lose in 6? I honestly don't know, but please, boys, get off to a good start again, and please just don't allow them to get even anywhere close in this game at all. Like, just blow them out of the water, and then Game 7 could be anything. So focus one period at a time. Don't worry about Game 7 yet, but find a way to win the first, find a way to win the second, and find a way to close it out in the third. So here we go. Another huge game. Can we force a Game 7? Let's see what happens. Real-time sim. Come on, boys. Get off to a good start for me. Penalty kill here. We kill it off. Nicely done. Power play for us. We do not score. Penalty kill again. A lot of whistles going on here early on, but both teams not able to score on their power plays. Penalty kill again. We are not disciplined whatsoever in this first. But so far, still even zeros across the board, and that's the way it's going to stay. I actually meant to move my face down here. Sorry about that. But yeah, that was an interesting first period. We killed off 3 penalties, I think. We had a power play of our own. We didn't score on it. Like, let's go to the penalties for a second. Yeah, Marcoux took a tripping penalty. Then they took a high-sticking penalty. Then Metro took a hooking penalty and a holding penalty from Lowry. So, yeah, we got to be a bit more disciplined in this next period. Discipline's been a bit of an issue at sometimes in this playoff run. So I'm hoping that the team kind of learns a bit more in a second. But we got to be disciplined. We got to find a way to get that game's first goal as well. Second period underway. This could be another big period for the series. Let's have a good second period like last game. Because last game, second period was good for us. We scored 3 goals in it, right? So come on, boys. Hey, Lowry scores. Let's go, Lowry. All right. And Alto scores too. That third line guys from before, they aren't all on the third line now, but Lowry, Alto, and Latti have been some of the best players I've seen in this playoff run. It's absolutely awesome how they've been. Like, Lowry usually scores almost like consistently, despite being only like a 2.5-star shot, but a 2-0 lead for us going into the third. Shots are 20-15. If we could find a way to play good for this last 20 minutes, we could be going to a Game 7 back in Edmonton for the Stanley Cup. So, and of course it would be a Game 7 because Edmonton likes to go to Game 7 Cup Finals, right? So, let's see what happens. Third period, can we find a way to lock this down? Come on, Vasi, I believe in you, buddy. Let's get some insurance just to play it safe, too. But yeah, Alto, Lowry, and Latti have been awesome. Power play for us. We do not score on it. But it does take a little bit of time off the clock, at least. Still playing good defensively. Penalty kill here late in the game. We get a goal afterwards. It's a 4th-line goal from Boone Jenner, who has not scored in quite some time. We are going to be forcing a Game 7 back on home ice as the Buffalo Sabres might be choking here, hopefully. But Game 7, we do have a chance to win a Stanley Cup. I was nervous about trying to come back from a 3-1 deficit, but this team is starting to figure its game out again. We have another shutout in this Cup Finals. And now it's anybody's series. So, Lowry from Marcoux and Holinka, Alto from Falk and Cameron, Jenner from Latti. Let's go. Let's friggin' go. All right. Well, obviously we're not going to have any minus players, but shout out to all those +2 guys. And then Vasi, 26 saves. Love to see it. He gets 1st star, Jenner 2nd star, Lowry the 3rd star. All right. Well, this is interesting. This is interesting. Obviously, last game we only won by 1 goal. This game we shut them out 3-0. Is that 1 goal difference, like that goal in this game that we had decided, Alto's goal, is that going to be what propels this team to a series win in a Stanley Cup? Both teams are 15-10. Of course, it'll come to a Game 7 decision on that. I think we got to keep the team the same. We've won 2 straight games. I'm a little bit nervous about doing that, but if we could find a way to go on a 3-game win streak after our 3-game lose streak, we've done it before, where we've had multiple game win streaks, like I said, against Nashville, and also against the Calgary Flames a couple times. We won 2 in a row. And then against Chicago, we actually also won 3 in a row. So we have had winning streaks all playoff long. And it could also be here as well. Let's keep the team the same. I would put Patrick Marleau in the lineup, even because he's 39 years old, and it would be kind of cool to see him maybe out there if for the chance to win the cup, but we don't know for sure if we're going to win that Stanley Cup. So Let's keep the team the same. Hopefully Moss plays good in this game and isn't -3, because if he's -3 in this last game, I would absolutely fire that guy into the sun if we were doing another season of this. But I almost want to watch the entire game, but since this recording is already around like 40-something minutes, there's just no way I could watch an entire game in terms of an episode. So we need to go into assimilation, and we'll probably watch maybe the entire third, depending on what the score is at that point. But can we find a way to build off a good last 2 games and somehow win the Stanley Cup in front of our fans? Come on, boys. Do it for the fans. They've been hungry for a Stanley Cup. Let's get her done. And let's hope that guys like Markku and McKinnon could come alive here in this game. Penalty kill to start game 7, and they immediately score, which is not a great sign, but maybe it's a good sign if we answer back. And we do answer back, so maybe it was a good sign. Maybe it was not, though, because Umberger gives the Sabres back the lead, but McKinnon answers back. Oh boy, this is going to be a crazy game 7 based on the first 10 minutes of the first period. Holy crap, man. And we get the lead. Fada makes it 3-2. Good to see Fada again on the board. What a hectic start to Game 7. I was expecting maybe a bit more defensive, but that was probably one of the most craziest starts to a Cup Finals I've seen in quite some time. They made it 1-0 early on a power play goal. Then Nelson tied it up. Then Umberger gave them the lead less than a minute later. Then less than a minute later, or just around a minute later, I guess, McKinnon ties the game up, and then Fada scores. Fada, like I said, hasn't been scoring consistently in this playoffs, but he's got 2 goals, I think, in this Cup Finals, so maybe he's coming alive at the right time. Shots are 14-13 in favor of us. It's a 3-2 game after 1. I hope the second period's a little bit more reserved in a way. Like, I would like to see us score more goals, but I don't want to see like us basically trading goals back and forth with Buffalo. Let's see what happens. Second period. Let's see if Vasi can have a good second period here and see if we could get some more insurance in this one. God damn, this is a crazy game, though. Been a bit of a crazy series, though, too, which I kind of expected with both these teams being as good as they have been in this playoff run. Okay, definitely a bit more of a reserved second period, which is good to see. Final few minutes of the second period. We're going to still have that 3-2 lead going into the third. Shots are even 24 apiece. I feel like I want to watch the entire third, but I feel like if I start watching the entire third, I might end up seeing like some bad stuff. So we'll probably simulate at least 10 minutes of this second period, or not second period, third period, and then we might watch the rest of it. But my God, this game is scary. Being up by a goal. Vasi had a good second period. Their goalie had a good second period though too. Can we find a way to get an insurance marker in this third? Third period underway, Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals. Let's get her done. Let's get her done. So far, still playing good defensively. And we're going to jump in now at 10:58. Maybe we should jump in later, but I think it's a good time to jump in and see what ends up happening. But my God, I am a little bit on the stress side of things. I don't want to go with that jersey. Yeah, we'll go to the blue, of course, because it's kind of like a historic jersey when you think about it. Let's go with, since this is 2018-19, which jerseys actually did Buffalo wear in 2018-19? I don't think it was this one, right? Let me go NHL uniforms, just to make it a bit accurate to the time period. Oh, it is actually these jerseys, I think, right? Yeah, it is. These jerseys are overrated as hell, to be honest, but we'll go with those, and it will be an interesting last 10 minutes of this third. I am really scared to jump in and watch, because obviously once you see the AI out there, you never know what could happen, but also the sim engine's kind of just as scary, because you don't even see the players out there until a notification happens that somebody scored, right? All right, shots are pretty even. 10:59 left, up by a goal in the third period. Let's find a way to play good here. Falk battles with, who is that again? 19, did I say it? I don't even know. McKinnon finds Toffoli. Toffoli turns it over. Carlson finds Hornfist. Hornfist to Umberger, that's who it is. Carlson tries to shoot it, can't get it through our defense. Riley with a bomb through the point. Nice block. I don't know who did that. I think it was Holinka. No, maybe it wasn't because Metropolit's out there. It was a forward, I think, actually. Damn. Okay. Umberger turns it over. Nathan McKinnon's working hard to keep them in their zone. Here's RJ Umberger again for the Sabres. Throws it over. Get back on defense, boys. Oh my goodness, Stafford nearly walked right down the slot. But good defensive recovery. Riley shoots. Deflected. Big save by Vasi. Come on, guys. They have full pressure. We got to get right out of our zone here, please. Thank you. Here comes Cameron. He gets hit by Umberger. He finds Fair all alone to find Stafford. Big save, please. Thank you, Vasi. Oh, my God. Since we've jumped in, I feel like I maybe shouldn't have jumped in this early. Holy crap. Vanek finds Riley. Over to Brzgalov. Big block shot there. Another chance. Vasi to save. Few seconds left on this full pressure. And can we get it out, please? The answer is the pressure is done. Holy crap. But we still don't get it out. Stafford shoots. Big save there. The rebound was there and loose. Vasi was tired, but we do get the puck. Holy shit, man. We survived a mirage of chances. And Calvin Pickard's now in net. Interesting. I guess it's because of the bad first period, but here's Eric Fair with it. He's tired. Still with it. Marcoux takes it away over to Lowry. We almost have 5 minutes to go. Fata. Fata with the puck. Still with it. Can't get... Here's a chance now for Rodriguez over to Fata. Fata can't shoot. We're not generating anything, and they keep getting breakaway after breakaway. Jason Zucker walks in. Can't get it by Vasilevsky. Berglund, Baker, Zucker. Another save, Vasilevsky. Vasi is honestly saving this team right now. Since we've jumped in, they've outshot us completely. Oh my God. This is why I don't like jumping into games sometimes. I get stressed out about it, but Vasi has been absolutely huge for us in these 6 minutes that we've watched so far. Carlson wins the draw. Riley to Brzgalov. He bombs it. Nice shot block. Actually, that hit after their own teammate, I think. Brzgalov. He's hidden. The puck comes out of the zone. There's only like 3 minutes left. Come on, guys. Nice poke check there. We got to play better defensively. We can't give up on man rushes. They almost have full pressure again, too. So we got to be generating some of our own chances. Rodriguez is stuck against the boards. They have possession of the puck again. Hornqvist finds Carlson. Big save there by Vasi. Oh, my God. Moss with the puck over to McKinnon. McKinnon finds Toffoli. He shoots. It goes wide. Allen will take it now because Allen's back in net again. I don't know why Pickard came in for a little bit. Maybe it's just always glitched out where the backup immediately goes back out of net. But they're taking out the Stanley Cup. Please don't take out the cup this early. They're, whatever your name is again, Phil Pritchard. Please don't take out the cup this early. There's still time on the clock for them to do some damage. So I prefer if you take it out with like 10 seconds left to go, man. Oh my God. I mean, I guess it's going to be awarded regardless of who wins, right? But Marcoux at the draw against Fair. Come on, Marcoux. You got good face-offs, and he cannot win it. Here's Kukkonen for Buffalo. Over to Vanek. Vanek's been dangerous in the series. Finds it to Fair. Big block shot by Metropolit. Absolutely huge shot block. Fata will turn it over. Fair's got it now. Got to get it out of the zone again. We've literally been on our heels the entire time we've watched. Fair a shot. Another save, Vasi. And they have full pressure again. The puck is behind our net. And Fata is almost interfered with, but Fair doesn't get a penalty. Stafford is stopped by Vasi. 21 seconds left to full pressure. 49 seconds left in the game. They might be pulling their goalie here. But my God. Drew Stafford's the captain of the Sabres, huh? That's an interesting one. I'm surprised they didn't go to Vanek before Stafford, but alright. McKinnon on a big face-off against Patrick Berglund. Come on, McKinnon. He doesn't win it. Berglund finds Kukkonen. He shoots. Shots. Block loose. Puck in front. Vasi stopped it. Oh my God. What the hell was that? I think he stopped it with the pad and it hit the post. And we get rid of the full pressure. They do have an empty net. Zucker walks in with it. Shoots. Vasi to save. Moss loses it in front. Stafford scores. God damn it. Friggin' Moss. Oh my God. We might be going to overtime in Game 7. Damn it, man. I thought we would maybe hold them off a little bit because of that crazy save scenario. We got to go back to that. But Moss absolutely gets creamed in front of the own net. And in a big play there by Stafford, maybe we should have scratched Moss. He's had a really tough series. And that is absolute dreadful. Just gets knocked out in front. I don't know why nobody was covering Stafford there. But Stafford's able to walk in and backhand that. Tie this game up. Oh man, I am nervous as hell now. But that save that Vasi had, absolutely crazy here. Because look at this chance for Zucker. Vasi is down. And this puck is going in. And it hits Vasi right there. Yeah, Vasi gets a chunk of it. And then it goes off the pipe. That's insane. And then it's loose there. Rodriguez finds it. At that point, I was like, maybe we're actually going to find a way. But we got to go back to this goal now again. Absolutely dreadful. Because this is just a typical backhand. Moss, though, tries to go right up the middle. And he turns it over. Zucker gets poke checked, and then it's on the stick of Stafford. He makes a move and gets it by Vasi. Vasi's been left out hell to dry here in his third, especially in his last 10 minutes, but that is not good. That is not good. We got to find a way to win this still. 31.5 seconds to go. We need our team to start getting some offensive chances because they've been getting every single chance in this last 10 minutes. Here is Berglund. Can't get by Moss. Good play by Moss finally. Nelson with the puck now. Brock Nelson throws it to Rodriguez. Over to Cameron. He shot just missed. The goalie's down. Nelson can't even jam it in the corner. There was time for him to probably pop that in, but he doesn't. Berglund the other way. Here's Zucker shoots. Big save, Vasi. That scared me. And we will be going to overtime. Game 7 for the Stanley Cup. We literally had the puck there for the Stanley Cup, but we could not even shoot. And then obviously that one should not have happened because Moss just made a terrible play. Oh my God. Well, I didn't expect it to be that crazy when we jumped in, but we literally came inches away from maybe finding a way to win this here. There's this chance for a camera right here. Screen in front. I don't know how Allen sees this, but he sees it. Goes down low here. Brock Nelson then takes his time. The goalie's down. He could literally probably put this in right here, but he doesn't even shoot. God damn, man. If we don't win the Stanley Cup now, I'm going to be pissed off, but that was absolutely a dreadful third period. We got outshot 14-4 since we jumped in. I probably got outshot really badly, so overtime for the Stanley Cup. It's a 3-3 game. It's a 3-3 series. Next goal wins the cup in 2019. Please, boys, get off to a better start offensively in overtime here. That third period was absolutely crazy, though. McKinnon wins it. Here is Falk. Justin Falk with it. Falk finds Toffoli. Over, can't find it. Here comes the Sabres the other way. Patrick Hornqvist making some moves. Hornqvist still with it. Throws it to the net. Toffoli blocks it. Goddamn. If Hornqvist won it, I would have literally to Saturn. I'd be like, damn, man. Here's Riley turned over as Nathan McKinnon putting on some pressure. Riley with it still. Throws it all the way up to William Karlsson. Nice play by Falk. Toffoli finds Metro. He gets hit, but it comes out of the zone. McKinnon's pressured. Hornqvist has it now. He's tired, though. And a turnover is forced, and it comes back into the Sabre zone. Goddamn. Umberger all the way up. Stafford somehow finds it. I don't know how that's not on offside, but Vasilevsky will stop him. Drew Stafford's been scary. I can tell you that much. Goddamn. I don't know how he was onside on that play. Very close to offside. Nice hit there by Ted, though. But we obviously can't be giving up those odd man rushes. We've given up a lot of them since we've jumped in, so maybe I shouldn't have jumped in as early as I did, but maybe it was okay. I don't know. Cameron versus Fair on the draw. Cameron wins it. Falk over to Metropolitan. He banks it all the way up. Here comes Brock Nelson. Can't get by Brzgalov. Riley to Vanek. Vanek finds Fair. Get it away, guys. Get it away. Get it away. Fair shoots it. Stopped by Vasi. They almost have full pressure again. God damn. The puck does come out of the zone, though, but we need that puck back. Maybe I should not have jumped in. I honestly don't know. Fair with the puck. Fair throws it over. Nice. Oh, that's a slash. I thought it was a nice defensive play, but it was a slash. And the Buffalo Sabres are going to the power play in overtime. Ted Metropolitan heads to the box. He's usually a sound defenseman, but penalty trouble has always been a thing for this team and for Metropolitan, I think, too, for that matter. But I thought he made a good defensive play, but he went for the slash when he went for the stick lift, I think. Yeah, he went for a stick lift on Kukkonen, but was way too early. Came back down on his hand. And this is not a good spot to be in Game 7, overtime for the Cup. I feel bad for Metropolitan being in a box like this at this point because it's just scary. But we have some good penalty killers. We have scored shorthanded goals before. Marcoux on the faceoff. He'll win it. Halinka will get it out of the zone. Here comes Fata shorthanded. He'll just dump it in, though. Smart play. Obviously, don't need to go for a shorthanded goal right now necessarily. And here comes JVR. Over to Berglund. Berglund holds on, finds Karlsson. Karlsson to JVR. He shoots Vasilevsky to save. They have full pressure. Oh my God, I hate pressure. I hate pressure. Ah, that hit the post. That deflected off the post, off of somebody's stick and in off the post from that Brzgalov shot. And we'll get it at least out of the zone. Oh my god, man. Pressure system in Stanley Cup Finals games is absolutely scary. Carlson with it. Can't get by. JVR a shot. Vasi to save. Holy crap. We're running around again, boys. Carlson out front. That doesn't get to the intended recipient. Get it out of the zone. Riley walks in. Scores. Fucking Christ, bro. Morgan Riley, of all people, would score a Stanley Cup winning goal. Maybe I should not have jumped in. Did I jinx it by jumping in? I don't know. But the Buffalo Sabres are Stanley Cup champions in 2019 as we lose in the finals. And that's just a recipe of what this game has done to me because we've lost so many friggin' Stanley Cup finals with the Islanders. And unfortunately, it looks like we're going to go out in the series with a Stanley Cup finals loss because I don't think there's another time I could get to a celebration, another Stanley Cup. There's just not enough time. God damn it, man. William Karlsson gets the Conn Smythe for them. And of course, the Oilers will lose a Game 7. Of course they will. Just like in 06 and just like in 2024, I think, right? God damn it, man. I don't really want to see their players with the Stanley Cup, please. So I'm going to skip through the celebration because, goddamn. Well, that's a disappointing way to end because they outshot us 43-28 final. They outshot us 19-5 in the last two periods. And I think most of that was when we jumped in. So, did I jinx us by jumping in? Probably, but they tie it up late. And then they win it in overtime. And Hornqvist had 3 assists and got first star in that last game. So, everybody let's blame Saturn Otaku about that. God damn it, man. It looked promising after that first and then those last 2 goals. Like, I don't know if we would have lost the cup if I didn't jump in that early. I don't know. There's always that argument, but man, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Let's take a look at the guys out there, and then we'll obviously get to wrapping up the season, but my God. This last goal, just we got too much pressure on us, and then Riley's able to walk down here and slides it right under Vasilevsky, and that ends us. I don't know whose man that would have been. I mean, we had 3 guys covering 2 people down low. So maybe somebody here like... Yeah, probably this should be either Falk or Fada going for this guy. Probably Fada. Yeah, it's probably Fada's fault, that one. Which sucks, but... Anyways, we've seen Fada before. Obviously, Falk is there, too. I don't even know if I really care to get screenshots of all these guys, but... Oh, boy. And obviously, we've seen Vasi down there. There's Holinka. What's he looking like? Okay, looking like that. And then, who was the other one out there? Actually, I guess there was only one more player. Yeah, just Marku. Oh, man, I wish I could have seen this team maybe win a Stanley Cup. But like I said, I don't think we have the time to, unfortunately, just because this episode goes out a week before 26. So I just don't think there's enough time. And obviously, Metropolitan being in the box is probably feeling really terrible, man. It sucks because I've really liked Metro at times, but that's a bad penalty to take. I thought he made a good stick lift, but yeah, he looks miserable in that box. And let's go over to the bench and just take a look at everybody on this team as well for one last time. Because like I said, I don't think we're going to get enough time. 24. Who is 24 again? Oh, there's Moss, yeah. That's the guy that's literally cost us some games. I don't know what to think of Moss, to be honest. We'll have to look at his stats again in the Stanley Cup Finals, but his beard's glitching for some reason. 26, I think, was Lotti? No, Rodriguez. All right. Then we have Mackey beside him. So there's Rodriguez, and there is Mackey, the Finn. Beside him, we have 68, which is... Who's 68? Oh, Andrew Shaw, of course, yeah. Andrew Shaw. Beside him, we have 66, which is Holden. So there's Holden, who was good early in the playoffs, didn't kind of fell completely off. 95, that might be one of the Finns, I think. Yep, that's Lahti. He looks like a pretty big guy. Beside him, we have probably Alto, I'm guessing. No, Lowry and Jenner. So there's Lowry, the short dude, who has been a really good player this season. There's Boone Jenner. And then we have, obviously, our captain, Nathan McKinnon, looking pretty sharp. Then we have Cameron, of course, so 2 legends. Maybe have to get a screenshot of that because these guys probably the Hall of Famers from the series if we do any Hall of Famers. And then besides that, we have Tyler Toffoli, 73. We also do have number 21, which is Alto. So there's Alto, the youngster. We've never seen him before. And then beside him, we have 28, which is Brock Nelson. And of course, behind him, there's McClement, who looks old. He's only 23 or something, but he's already losing most of his hair. So there's our team in this probably final season. Oh, man, that sucks. That really sucks. I wish I could tell how much shots they outshot us by since we jumped in. I guess I could technically if we go here. They had 4 shots in overtime. We didn't have a single shot in that overtime. We go to the third period. We jumped in at the 10-minute mark around. So technically, they got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They outshot us 11-1 when we jumped in, and then 4-0 in overtime. So 15-1 since we jumped in. So I think we might have jinxed it by jumping in. Like maybe we should have jumped in later. But goddamn, that sucks a lot, bro. A lot. Well, this team probably would be good enough to win a cup. It's just it would take maybe another season. But like I said, I don't think there's going to be enough time for me to get another season done. So final thing we got to do, we're going to see the awards and all that stuff wrap up this season. But we will not take a look at players' career stats right now and all that type of thing. We'll do that obviously next episode because next episode we'll have to look at like the record book and all that probably as well. But let's take a look at the awards for the season. We aren't even going to look at our players' playoff stats because we'll look at that next episode. But Buffalo wins the Stanley Cup. Then we also had Washington won the President's Trophy, and then obviously it was us and Buffalo in the Cup Finals. But I think we would have won it if I didn't jump in that early. I don't know. That's just maybe me hoping, but honestly, I don't know. Ovechkin wins the Art Ross and the Hart. John Carlson the Norris. Lady Bing and Nick Backstrom. A lot of Washington awards. Alto did win the Calder in this last season, so I will definitely take that. Alto's definitely a promising player. Carlson wins the Conn Smythe for Buffalo. As we saw, Ullmark the Vezina. What else we got here? Fleury the Jennings for Pittsburgh. Him and Matt Murray. Jacob Slavin the Bill Masterton. Dallas's head coach to Jack Adams. Getzlav wins the Selke. That's kind of an interesting one. Ovechkin the Lindsay and Ovechkin the Richard. AHL-wise, Eric Hallow won an award. Mike Ribeiro's in the minors now. Some generated guy named Von Arx. Christian Ehrhoff the best defenseman, so I guess he's close to retirement. Hey, Dorsett won the best goalie in the AHL. That's good to see. Yannick Hansen, I think that probably is. And then there's Mike Ribeiro again. Some guy named Lundin. And then there's Dorsett again. Huh. All right. So there's that. And I think that's all we got to do in this episode. Because like I said, I don't want to look at any player stats yet. But I don't think there's really another way I could get another season done of this, realistically. Because technically, if I wanted to get another season done of this, we'd have to do one full season in one giant video on the Wednesday. And then the finale would have to be on the Friday. There's just no way I could do that, I don't think so. I think this has got to be the end probably of the simulation, unfortunately. So, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode. So, I think next episode will be the finale. I know some of you guys are probably going to be disappointed that we aren't going to get the chance to win a Stanley Cup with this team. I'm pretty disappointed, but we came very close, and I think this team would have gotten it done if we would have had a little bit more time left in the series. But since NHL 26 is dropping so early this year, obviously that just kind of dwindled our chances to get that Stanley Cup. Because if NHL 26 came out in October like it did last year, or whatever month it was, then we would have obviously had a chance to probably get still more of the simulation done, but won't be able to get it done this year, unfortunately. So anyways, let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.